Breaking news from Moscow tonight. The Russian capital is reeling after a massive wave of missile and drone strikes rocked multiple districts. Eyewitnesses described the sky over the city glowing red as explosions thundered across key neighborhoods. The Russian Defense Ministry has confirmed what it calls a coordinated aerial assault, reportedly involving over 50 Flamingo drones and long-range missiles that struck both military and civilian targets. Flamingo-class missiles, believed to be a new generation of precision-guided weapons, were seen streaking across the night sky. Russian media initially attempted to downplay the incident, claiming that all incoming threats were intercepted. However, videos flooding social platforms show massive fireballs rising near the Kremlin district, suggesting several strikes hit critical infrastructure. Traffic has been halted across central Moscow, and thousands are sheltering in subway stations as air raid sirens continue. Rachel Maddow, reporting live on MSNBC, called the event one of the boldest and most shocking attacks on Russian soil since World War II. According to early analysis, the coordinated drone and missile strike demonstrates a level of sophistication that surprised even Western intelligence agencies. "This is not random," Maddow said. "This is a statement, and the message is loud and clear. No one, not even Moscow, is untouchable anymore." Sources close to the Russian Emergency Command Center reveal that at least 7 government buildings, 3 fuel depots, and several communications hubs were damaged or destroyed. Fires have erupted across the outskirts of the city, and some regions are facing power outages as electrical substations were hit. Russian state television briefly went off air before switching to emergency programming, urging citizens to remain calm and stay indoors. The Russian Ministry of Defense has blamed Ukraine for the attacks, claiming that Western nations supplied the technology behind the Flamingo weapons. Kyiv has not officially commented, though military analysts suggest that if confirmed, this strike represents a new phase of deep penetration operations against Russia's command structure. The precision and timing, striking during Moscow's night curfew, indicate extensive reconnaissance and electronic warfare support. Explosions were reported near Moscow City, a financial district filled with high-rise offices. Glass shattered across dozens of skyscrapers as flames engulfed parts of the skyline. Firefighters are battling to contain the infernos, but the scale of destruction is overwhelming. Video clips show ambulances rushing through blocked roads, and witnesses describe hearing multiple secondary detonations, possibly ammunition or fuel stores igniting. In an emergency address, President Vladimir Putin appeared visibly shaken as he vowed swift and total retaliation. His speech, broadcast from an undisclosed location, accused NATO of direct involvement. "They have crossed the red line," he warned, "and Russia will respond decisively." Analysts say this statement could mark a dangerous escalation, raising fears of wider regional conflict or even nuclear brinkmanship. Maddow's analysis pointed out the growing vulnerability of Russian air defenses. Despite billions spent on the S-400 and S-500 systems, the success of tonight's attack reveals significant blind spots. "It's not just about the missiles," she said. "It's about the psychological impact. Russians woke up to realize that even Moscow, the heart of their power, is no longer safe." International reaction has been swift. NATO members have called emergency consultations, while European markets plunged overnight amid fears of retaliation. The United States has neither confirmed nor denied any involvement, but issued a statement urging restraint on all sides. Meanwhile, social media is ablaze with footage of burning buildings, panic in the streets, and the eerie wail of sirens echoing through the capital. Russian citizens are describing scenes of chaos. One witness near Tverskaya Street said, "It felt like the whole sky was on fire. We could feel the ground shake." Hospitals are overflowing, and Moscow's mayor has declared a citywide state of emergency. Unverified reports suggest hundreds may be injured, though official figures remain tightly controlled. Independent satellite imagery analyzed by Western observers shows widespread damage near key transportation hubs, including rail terminals and military supply depots. Fires are visible from orbit, and smoke columns stretch for miles. Experts say the attack's precision indicates GPS jamming countermeasures failed, a major technological setback for Russian defense systems. Maddow emphasized that the name Flamingo may symbolize a psychological tactic. "These are not traditional weapons. They're a statement of reach and control," she said. The pink-orange glow seen in the Moscow skyline reminded many of the mythical bird's color, leading to speculation that the weapon's name was intentionally chosen to mock Russian air defenses. Throughout the night, rescue operations have been underway. Fire brigades, police, and military engineers are working around the clock to restore essential services. Footage shows soldiers evacuating civilians from high-rises, while drones continue to hover over the city, uncertain if they're Russian or enemy surveillance units. Panic remains high as misinformation spreads rapidly online. The attack has also rattled Russia's political establishment. Opposition figures, long silenced, are now openly questioning Putin's ability to defend the nation. Maddow noted, "For years, the Kremlin projected strength through propaganda. Tonight, that illusion has burned, quite literally, in the skies above Moscow." This unprecedented strike may shift public perception of the war entirely. In Washington, lawmakers are holding emergency intelligence briefings. The Pentagon has reportedly raised alert levels for U.S. forces in Europe. While no nation has officially claimed responsibility, experts believe the strike required sophisticated coordination beyond Ukraine's known capabilities, suggesting possible Western technical support behind the scenes. Putin's aides are reportedly urging the president to avoid rash military retaliation. Russian generals, however, are calling for a decisive response, including potential long-range missile barrages against Kyiv. Western analysts fear that miscalculation could push the crisis to the edge of global confrontation, as both sides weigh their next move carefully. As dawn breaks over Moscow, smoke continues to rise across the skyline. Roads are littered with debris, cars burnt out, and civilians walking in shock. "It looks like a war zone," said one resident near Red Square. Power remains unstable, with several districts still in darkness. Authorities are urging calm, but the atmosphere is one of fear and disbelief. Rachel Maddow's closing remarks summed up the gravity of the moment. Tonight, history changed. The flames in Moscow are not just literal. They represent a geopolitical firestorm that could reshape the balance of power. Her broadcast ended with haunting images of the burning skyline and a warning that this may only be the beginning. Across global capitals, diplomats are scrambling to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. China and India have both called for an emergency UN Security Council session, while European leaders are pushing for de-escalation talks. Still, with Russia's pride and stability shaken, peace seems increasingly distant. As night gives way to a smoldering dawn, Moscow stands wounded but defiant. Citizens mourn, leaders rage, and the world watches anxiously. Whether this marks the start of a larger war or a turning point toward negotiation remains unclear. But one thing is certain, the era of Moscow's invulnerability has ended in flames. By mid-morning, emergency sirens still echoed through Moscow as rescue crews sifted through the wreckage. Entire blocks remained cordoned off, and the acrid smell of smoke filled the air. Official state media resumed broadcasting with patriotic music, trying to restore calm, but citizens were visibly shaken. "We never thought this would happen here," said a nurse helping victims at a downtown hospital. "Now everyone realizes the war has come home." Intelligence reports from European agencies indicate that Russia's air defenses were overwhelmed due to simultaneous decoy drone waves. These small, fast-moving devices confused radar systems, while the larger Flamingo missiles struck key targets with pinpoint accuracy. Military analysts call it a textbook example of electronic warfare superiority, a stark warning that Russia's once-feared defense grid can be penetrated with precision and timing. As night approaches again, Moscow braces for potential follow-up strikes. Residents are stocking supplies, fuel stations are running dry, and social media platforms are filled with evacuation rumors. The city's morale has been shaken, and the Kremlin's response could define the next phase of the global conflict. Rachel Maddow closed her coverage with a chilling remark. "The world stands at a crossroads, and tonight, those crossroads are lit by the fires of Moscow."